So I just wanted to talk about how my game has done 1.5 months after launching it on Steam. I guess off the bat, what you came here for, how many sales did it get? So I'll jump straight into that. It's just hit 200 sales after a month and a half, and that's $684 US. Although once you account for the Steam 30% cut, as well as any refunds, also the $100 US that you pay to get the app on Steam. To be honest, my expectations coming in, I wasn't expecting any sales at all. I launched the game and it had no wishlist or barely any wishlists, and everything that I'd heard about Steam is that you need wishlists to be successful. But from investigation after launching the game, I've actually found some sources from Steam themselves talking about how wishlists actually influence the game's performance. And basically, wishlists don't affect any of the Steam algorithms. All it is an email list. So when you launch a game on Steam, it'll send out an email, and also when there's discounts, it'll send an email out to all the people who've wishlisted. Apart from that, it doesn't affect where it's shown in the store, aside from a couple of very specific places, like I think it's the upcoming most hyped games, whatever the category is. There's like one spot that it affects it, but apart from that, wishlists mean nothing. Although, in saying that, obviously they're a good metric to gauge how likely you are to succeed, but they're not the be-all, end-all how well your game is going to perform. Because we launched this app with no wish list, and immediately it started getting sales, which even till now is still crazy to me, because I sort of woke up the first morning after it launched. It launched at 12 AM my time, and it had like 16 sales, which might sound like not a lot, but for me, as a creative, this is like the first thing I've done creatively that I get paid for at all. So it's like, I saw that number and I nearly cried, because I was like, this is the first time I'm getting paid to do what I want to do. That is something that is really motivating, and that makes me really want to keep working on the game development, seeing that what I created, other people enjoy or want to use enough that they're willing to pay for it. I could talk about the amount of time that I put into it. So I started this project back in November last year and probably worked on it about 3 or 4 months. And this is all in my spare time, keep in mind. So I got a full-time job, and this is all in like nights, weekends that I'm working on this. So about 3 or 4 months of doing that, and then I launched it on Steam in early access. I guess still, if you balance the numbers though, the amount of hours I put into it is going to be a lot more than the outcome. If you calculate how much I'm getting paid per hour, it's not good. But in saying that, it feels like all of the lessons that I've learned from it will help me make the next game that I release way more successful. The next major thing I want to talk about is reviews, because these were a couple of things that I didn't really understand or know going in, but I wish I had. For reviews, basically until you hit 10 reviews, Steam sort of ignores your game in terms of that it doesn't place it in a positive or negative category. It's just like sort of like a blank until it hits that 10th review. I didn't realize the importance of getting those early reviews until after launching the game. But after hearing about this, I sort of tried to like scramble and get the sales and get people to actually review the game. So it got to those 10 reviews, and actually interestingly with the sales, as soon as it hit that 10th review, it suddenly bumped up. And if you look at the numbers in terms of the discovery queue, it's just getting way more attention as soon as it hit that 10th review. However, unfortunately, because there was a few bugs to do with regions, so regions that use commas for the decimal place separator, it would just break the entire app. And because I didn't realize this, because I hadn't play tested it internationally, right? So because of these bugs, it meant that people left negative reviews, which ended up meaning now, like right now, it's in the mixed review category. There was a couple of negative reviews due to that bug and also the current state of it. I guess from that, I took the feedback and I sort of worked on fixing those issues that were mentioned in the negative reviews. In about a month of release, I sort of launched the next major update, which sort of fixed a lot of the issues. So it allowed real-time playback and controlling of the parameters, as well as fixing a lot of other bugs, like the bug that stopped it working in a bunch of regions. So I guess from like a developer's perspective, it's sort of hard to know what to do in the situation, in terms of, it's like the point of early access, in my mind anyway, is like so that you have feedback from the players, so that you get these like bug reports. But the problem is, in Steam, it'll take the early access reviews and basically that's final. So it treats them as final, which is where maybe I could have, I guess, released an early demo or some other sort of release without going through Steam, and then sort of done the playtesting that way and then released it once it was a bit more down the line polished. So it's sort of hard to know how to balance that in terms of, I guess I was treating early access as like, well, it is a work in progress, so it's not going to be complete, but our development team, we're working hard to fix all of the issues that we run into. And so I sort of had that mindset going into it, but that doesn't perfectly mesh with Steam's system of reviews. So as soon as someone leaves a negative review, that's sort of there forever. So I fixed all of the issues, or at least what I considered to be the issues mentioned in these negative reviews, pushed that major update, replied to their reviews saying like, we've patched these issues, we've worked on improving the UI and making it more user-friendly, intuitive, whatever. But unfortunately that doesn't actually mean that you're out of the negative review space. It definitely gave me sort of a new perspective on the whole game development cycle, but overall I'm still happy that I hit publish when we did, because it's the sort of thing that you can keep working on it forever on your own. It's like until you get that user feedback, you sort of can't grow anymore. So that has actually been critical to bringing the app to where it is now. All of that feedback that we got since launching in early access. The main takeaway that I've got from this is, well, if there's bugs that you find, it's almost worth like dropping everything and trying to get them resolved as soon as possible, just because there's such a small number of reviews total. It's like even the one negative review is enough to put you from mostly positive to mixed reviews, which means that when someone sees it, they're like much less likely to buy the game. The other thing that's interesting to me though still is that even though it is in the mixed review category, people are still buying it. And honestly, in my mind, I'm like, if I see a mixed review game, I feel like I'm out of it. I'm not gonna give it the time. But thankfully it seems like people understand maybe how Steam's review system isn't perfect. So it's like they'll read the reviews, they'll see if the developers are active, and all these other things that we have been trying to do to show that we're committed to like delivering this project and actually improving. Because that's the point of early access for us, is like we want to keep making this thing better. That's sort of just a couple of thoughts that I've had since we launched the game a month and a half ago. I'm hoping that the new people that we bring in will see the new updates and hopefully review it positively, and then we can maybe get out of the mixed review category, because for context, we have 8 positive reviews, 4 negative reviews, so we've just got 12 reviews total. So it's like any single positive review can like bring it out of that category, or any single negative review can like bring it even way lower, so you feel like you're at the mercy of any single person who buys the game. Overall, I do really like Steam's system. I don't think it's bad, but I think it is hard when you're sort of balancing the line of early access and what that means, because often to people these days, it's sort of like you expect the finished product, or you expect it to not have any bugs, like when you play early access, which is to some degree reasonable. Like it's like you still are paying for the product, so you don't want it to not work at all. So it is an interesting balance, and I guess I'm sort of seeing it from both like the consumer side and the developer side now a bit more. But overall, I'm really happy launched it in like 3 months, because I think a lot of the time if you just keep working on something, you can keep working on it forever and never know when it's really ready. So I feel like just launching it, getting the feedback, like allows you to know what the potential of the app or the game is, so you know where it can go from there. Those are just some off-the-cuff thoughts that I've had since launching this game, and I hope it has given you some insights into, if you're a game developer, like what Steam is like, how to launch a game in early access. And I'd love to know if you have any other questions or thoughts or ideas for how we could have launched early access better. That's about it.